Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. Perikatan Nasional lawmakers walked out of the Dewan Rakyat this afternoon. This was in protest over one of its MPs being referred to the Rights and Privileges Committee. They then held a press conference over the issue. Let's take a look at what they said. The opposition is mulling to refer Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul to the Rights and Privileges Committee. This came after government MPs voted and passed a motion to refer PN-Tasek Gelugor Wan Saiful Wan Jan to the committee. In a press conference held after PN lawmakers walked out of the Dewan Rakyat, the coalition's chief whip Taqiyuddin Hassan said that the matter will be studied.
Kita akan study perkara itu, tetapi untuk dari segi peraturannya, Speaker adalah ahli Dewan. Mana-mana ahli Dewan boleh dirujukkan ke jawatankuasa privilege dan juga hak ni. Tapi kita akan kajilah.
The government had wanted to censure Wan Saiful for alleging in the House that his corruption cases could be dropped if he supported Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. The motion was tabled by Law and Institutional Reform Minister Azalina Othman Said and was passed with a voice vote. Meanwhile, Wan Saiful explained that he had originally brought up the allegations so that the committee could investigate them. He said it was unfortunate that the contents of his complaints were used to investigate him instead. Umno ministers have voiced out against the MAHB deal. This is according to Foreign Minister Mohamad Hasan. Foreign Minister Mohamad Hasan said Umno ministers have voiced their objections to the planned Malaysia Airport Holdings Berhad takeover due to the Blackrock connection. He said Umno ministers had said that if possible, the deal should not proceed, but the transaction is too advanced. He added that it should be reviewed, good or bad, whatever its impact will be. He did not say when Umno ministers had raised their objections about the MAHB takeover. Khazanah is leading a consortium that includes the Employees Provident Fund, Global Infrastructure Partners, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority to take over MAHB shares not already owned by Khazanah or the EPF. The deal raised concerns locally as Blackrock is in the midst of taking over GIP. Blackrock is a US firm with close ties to Israel and invests heavily in weapons manufacturers that provide arms to the Zionist regime. On Friday, GIP said that Blackrock will not be involved with MAHB as the GIP management will still be fully in charge of the company. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim had said that talks with GIP had been initiated before Blackrock bought out the former. He also said that cutting ties with all Israeli-linked companies operating in Malaysia would hurt the economy. Anwar added that Blackrock already has interests in many companies in the country. If you like access to news like this and more, subscribe now to Malaysia Kini and support independent media. Still on the deal, a group has urged Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to not allow entities complicit in atrocities being committed in Palestine to gain a foothold in Malaysia. They told Anwar to say no to Blackrock. A group of civil society organizations has called for a halt to the sale of Malaysia Airport Holdings Berhad shares to a company that will soon be owned by Blackrock. Their appeal to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim comes in light of Blackrock being identified as complicit in the ongoing human rights violations in Gaza. In a statement today, the group said the Prime Minister and the government's stance and actions on Palestine have thus far been commendable. It added that to remain consistent, it is imperative that Malaysia does not allow entities complicit in atrocities being committed in Palestine a foothold in our nation. With this, they urged the Prime Minister to make the right and conscionable decision and say no to Blackrock and uphold Malaysia's commitment to human rights and ethical governance. Among the 21 signatories of the statement were BDS Malaysia, Sentra Malaysia, Viva Palestina Malaysia and IKRAM. The civil society groups also highlighted that the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in a statement dated June 20th explicitly named Blackrock as a financial institution investing in arms manufacturers supplying weapons to Israel. They emphasized that Malaysia as a UN member should take heed of the body's call to pressure parties complicit in or enabling war crimes and genocide in Gaza. They said this means refusing to engage or collaborate with entities complicit in these actions. Meanwhile, PKR's Deputy Secretary General has responded to Akmal over his criticism of the proposed deal. PKR Deputy Secretary General Dr. Satya Prakash Nadarajan has questioned why UMNO Youth Chief Dr. Mohamad Akmal is critical of the controversial Blackrock deal now, but didn't speak up during BNRU. He said he didn't see Akmal giving any statement regarding how Blackrock can become the second largest shareholder in the country all this while. He asked if Akmal did not dare because BN led the government at that time. Satya then asked Akmal to be more transparent when giving his views on government policies. He said he was sure the government doesn't stop anyone, including UMNO leaders, from giving their views, especially if they don't agree with the government's decisions. However, he said it must be honest and they shouldn't throw dishonest criticisms just to gain cheap popularity. Satya said this in response to Akmal's continued criticism of the government's efforts to sell 30% of Malaysia Airport Holdings Berhad shares to global infrastructure partners. Akmal recently questioned Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's statement that Malaysia's economy would be affected if the government severed ties with all Israel-related companies operating abroad. Akmal has said that there were many other companies out there that have expertise that MAHB can ask for help. GIP is in the process of being taken over by Blackrock, a US company that has close ties to Israel, in addition to investing in companies that supply arms to the Zionist regime. The company entered Malaysia during the BN administration and has been in the country since the 1990s. Anthony Loke has dismissed rumors that PAS was in discussions to join the coalition government. He said the media may have misunderstood Fahmi's response to a question on the matter. Transport Minister Anthony Loke has denied that PAS would be invited to join the coalition government. This came following reports citing Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil as neither confirming nor denying rumors that the Islamist Party would join the Pakatan Harapan-led ruling coalition. Loke reportedly said there have been no discussions about PAS joining the unity government. He said the media may have misunderstood what Fahmi had said. Elaborating, Loke said that Fahmi had stated that there were many discussions, and those discussions were between the federal and state governments. He added that he had also met with PAS leaders and he had not invited them to join the government. He said discussions were not political but G2G, meaning government to government between the federal and state governments. Meanwhile, PAS leaders have also confirmed that the party has no plans to join the Pakatan Harapan BN-led coalition government. Yesterday, PAS Deputy President Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man said that there was no consultation, there was no discussion, internal party meeting or a meeting together with Perikatan Nasional. PAS has also denied the matter. A PAS leader confirmed that the party has no plans to join the Pakatan Harapan BN-led coalition government. PAS Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan has stressed that his party would remain in Perikatan Nasional and would not be joining the Pakatan Harapan BN-led coalition government. He said this in response to Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil's initial statement that PAS and the government were holding discussions, leading observers to believe that PAS might leave Perikatan Nasional and join the government. In a statement last night, Taqiyuddin accused Fahmi of trying to twist perceptions about PAS, especially among voters in Sungai Bakap, which is facing a by-election. He said that Fahmi's statement was just his imagination and had nothing to do with PAS. He reiterated that PAS remains with and will continue cooperating with Perikatan Nasional. Taqiyuddin clarified that the negotiations mentioned by Fahmi, especially between the Mentris Besar, the states led by PAS and the Prime Minister, are normal negotiations related to the administration of states and the federal government. He added that Fahmi should be more transparent and not play with perception and slander to discredit the government's political opponents, especially PAS. He said PAS is not like the political parties in the government coalition that change their promises and stances before and after an election or at any other time when they are in a difficult situation. Yesterday, in response to a reporter's questions about a rumor, Fahmi, who is also the government spokesperson, said there were many ongoing discussions between the government and the opposition, particularly with the state leaders. However, he did not specify whether the federal government and PAS had an exclusive discussion on the matter. Next, we have a branded capsule brought to you by Autocon.
Now it's like hanging there, here and there. How to get those numbers, everything we also don't know.
So the processing is unclear. We're also not sure what we're doing is clear or not, is correct or not.
The implementation of the National E-Invoicing Policy has entered the countdown stage. What should small and medium enterprises and consumers pay attention to?
Technically, you need to issue invoice to your customer. But if you are running a retail industry, for example, restaurant, what you need to do is, because most of your customers, they do not require invoice. So in this type of situations, what you need to do is to issue receipt as per your current practice. But month ends, you need to issue a consolidated invoice. But under certain circumstances, you are not able to get invoice from your supplier. In these kind of situations, you need to issue self-billed invoice, because in order to get tax deductions. So as individual like you and me, so in the future when we do spending, we need to think whether this expense allow us to claim personal tax relief or not. If can, then we ask for invoice. If cannot, then we better don't ask. We just take a receipt or invoice that will be sufficient for us.
Organised by Autocon, Simplifying E-Invoicing at a Glance seminar tour in KL was successfully held in HGH Convention Centre, attracting over 1,000 attendees. Harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, the Autocon E-Invoicing platform, AIP, is designed to facilitate SMEs to improve business efficiency and enhance tax compliance.
We have intelligent onboarding that instead of sending an email to your customers and fill up manually and copy to your system or using Google Form, that will be able to generate a unique link and send to your customer. They will fill in all the information by themselves. Then your system will be able to import automatically. Secondly, we have intelligent submissions that if the system is tend to be down from LHDN, so our AIP server will be able to do a retrial mechanisms, then auto submission even your PCs is off. If LHDN do have some new changes on like classification code or some of the value that you do not need to upgrade the software to a latest version because that is very time consuming. So with an intelligent update, the system will be able to get the latest update from the LHDNs.
That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.